Yeah.
All right, then it's like 59 here, so I'll just start.
Yes.
Cool. Yes. Cool. Okay. So we're live. Welcome everybody to episode 143 of the CosCast. I am, as always, Cosplay, your main host, and with me I have my fellow co-hosts.
Annabella Cosplay, and I did not forget it this time.
And then Yasia Cosplay.
Welcome, ladies. Also, we are joined by Kissy Sensei Cosplay today. Welcome.
Hi.
So you're here today to talk about cosplay and cosplay positivity. That's that's the main theme of the episode today. But before we go and venture into the main theme, as always, we're going to go through some of our usual segments. So first of all, we're going to talk about cosplay progress. So, have we been making any cosplay progress this week at all?
Yes. Well, since it's 2 weeks now, I have. Actually, oh, here we go. I received my McCall's pattern for a certain jacket that I'm gonna use. Not Evil Queen. It's gonna be Governor Ratcliffe from Pocahontas jacket. So I'm gonna make a female version-ish of the Disney villain for BansaiCon.
Cool.
So I got that. Now I just need to buy fabric and do everything else. Yeah.
You've got a place to start. That's important.
I do.
How about you, Tonya?
Yes, well, my progress is like, looks like this. Look, it's wigs.
Yay.
A purple one, lilac purple something, for my Madame Mim for BansaiCon.
Oh, yeah.
And a very long green, like moss green, for, what's her face, from AKB 0048.
Takamina.
Takamina. And I have received some pickup notice from the mail.
A mail slip, yeah.
And I suspect it can be the actual cosplay for Takamina.
Yay!
So
We're
excited! Yay!
We're doing 2 group cosplays for BansaiCon, we should clarify. One is a, like, Gijinka, like, human version of Disney villains. Or, you know, or femme versions of Disney villains. So I'm going to be Ursula, and Tonya is Madame Mim, and Sunniva is going to be Governor Radcliffe. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Ratcliffe.
Yes, and also we're going to be 3 of the group members from AKB 0048. If you've ever seen that anime, you know what that is. And if not, then you should check it out, because it's amazing.
Yes.
And it only has like 2 seasons, so it's very short. And, so I styled a wig for my AKB cosplay. If you guys want to wait, I can just bring it real quick, because I forgot to put it in the office. It's in the hallway. Be right back.
Yes, you go get it. And while you do that, I want to say hello to Bazinga, or Henrik as I know him. And I know that he has done some progress on his Stormtrooper, and he just got it approved of the official Stormtrooper blah 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 something. And to honor that, I got my Star Wars t-shirt and R2-D2 mug.
Oh, that's cute.
Cool. Right, so here it is. So basically this was a very, very cheap eBay wig. So what I've done is I've just, given her some volume, a little bit of life, because she was like just drooping, just flat. So she's a little bit better now, but she might need a bit more eventually. And also I did her bangs, so they're gonna be tucked in.
Cute.
Yes. It's very pretty. It's my first pink wig. I've never had a pink wig before, so.
Also, Rick McStuff says in the chat, I checked out AKB after you talked about it. That show is ridiculous and I love it.
Yes, it is super ridiculous, and that is why we love it.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Very true. How about you, Kissy Sensei? Have you done some cosplay work as of late?
Not this week, but the past, I'll say, month, I got my McCall pattern for the bodysuit. I'm actually creating from scratch for the first time a costume, and it's going to be Ochako's hero uniform from My Hero. So I'm going to be making the bodysuit and making the armor. So I got the bodysuit pattern. I ordered the foam for the armor, and I printed out and sized and taped all of the patterns for the armor. So it's slowly coming together. I have 2 months to get it together, but I'm in nursing school, so I'm trying to manage my time.
I feel you. I gotcha. But yeah. Luckily you'll manage to get it done. It sounds possible. It does.
Somehow.
You'll manage. Fight though.
Yes.
Yes, fight though.
Yeah, so it sounds like we've all been doing a little bit of progress lately. And I have to say, it feels nice to not make everything from scratch right now, because life has been really busy and I've been really tired, and just buying cosplay sometimes is just nice.
Yeah, it's very nice because you don't have to go out into every fabric store to find the correct fabric. And if you find the correct one, it's very often too expensive.
Right.
Mm.
Not to mention, every time I sew, I want to rip my hair up because I forget how bad I am at it between projects.
You're selling yourself short right now. I think you're
Yes,
good at sewing.
you're selling yourself very short because I remember someone winning a cosplay contest with craftsmanship.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
but
true.
I also it took me 6 months to make that costume. just gonna say.
Still, it hope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Leora is saying that she have made cosplay progress. She ordered wigs, bought shoes for cosplay, bought yarn for a hat and a vest that she has to make. She's been knitting and shocking my mom how long it got. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's been knitting and doing good at it because her mom got shocked. Haha. Well done, well done.
yes. All right.
And Lucy has done makeup tests. That's cool.
Yes, I saw those makeup tests from that Hitman game or something, or Yakuza game. Yeah, Yakuza. That was pretty cool. I've seen them. You're awesome. Also, Accidental Dream Daddy. Yes, I see it. Do it.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so moving on from cosplay progress, we're going to go into cosplay news. And the first bit of news this week is that 2 of our lovely former guests and big personalities in the cosplay community, Santatori Cosplay and Time for Lemon Tea, got married yesterday.
Aww.
So congratulations! Or
And
at least-
Anyasia, you were there. Do you want to share some words?
Yeah, I can share some words. I mean, there were a lot of crying. Like a lot of crying. I cried so much, and I was one of the guests because I know Santatori from before. We're dear friends,
childhood friends.
Yeah, and I mean it was beautiful, really, really beautiful, and so much love. And I didn't plan for it, but I was inspired at the dinner when they had like speeches and stuff to do my own speech.
Aww.
And luckily they could press me in. And so yeah, and my heart was pounding so hard when I performed that speech, but it went fine. It was good. Yeah.
I wish I could see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I wish I could have
yeah.
been there. I mean, we were all invited, but I wouldn't have been able to afford to go there.
No. Yeah. And of course, there were a lot of wine.
Of course.
Lots and lots of wine.
Ryura says, I saw photos on Instagram. So pretty. All the best for the both of them. Yes. Their dresses were so beautiful.
They were
They
they
looked
were
amazing.
so beautiful.
So, yes. Very happy for them. The next piece of news is that BonsaiCon just announced that their latest guest is Elisa Whitney. And Elisa is a comic book author from the States, actually. And let's see. So she's worked with Neil Gaiman on the Norse mythology book, amongst other things. And she's worked for DC Comics and Vertigo. And she has been Eisner nominated for one of her graphic novels.
Wow.
And she writes about like women in fiction and urban fantasy. So she's quite the big name, apparently. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So if you haven't bought your ticket to BonsaiCon yet, I would say that this is a pretty good reason to go and buy that ticket and go there. This is not an ad.
No, it's not.
Next thing we wanted to mention is that DragonCon is happening in Atlanta, right?
Georgia.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. So this is the final day, I think, of DragonCon. It says that it lasts until the 3rd of September. I'm betting that means that they'll be partying till after midnight or something.
Yep.
Because I've heard that it's a party convention. Although I've never been. We have a few friends that are there right now, and we're not jealous at all.
No. Judging Instagram, it seems like they are having the best of time.
Mm-hmm. I saw that Weaselette was there with her Karan, the gorgeous man from Voltron. So it seems like she's having a blast at least.
Yeah, it seems like they have a lot of fun there.
Also, just a little bit of self-promotion at the end of the news section this week. Our Dragon Age Actual Play podcast is having its live stream premiere next Friday at 7 in the evening. That's 7 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Yay! So if you've been following our podcast or live streams and you're into Dragon Age and role-playing games and actual play podcasts, then you should definitely tune in next Friday because it's going to be awesome! We can't wait. We're so hyped. How about you two? Do you have anything you want to say before I...
No, I just followed the chat and saw that Lucia Farah has bought tickets for BonsaiCon, but it seems like she can't go and she's sad and I'm like, no, Lucia!
That's the worst, when you buy tickets to a con and you can't go.
Crossing fingers that you can go anyway.
Yes, we hope so.
Let's pray to the cosplay gods.
Yes. All of them, whoever they are. All right, so that's enough of our of pre-segments and things. Let's move on to the main theme of our show, which is cosplay positivity. So, Aniasia, maybe you
Pictures.
Oh yeah, we have pictures. Oh my god, I almost forgot. I always forget for some reason.
Yes, this is the segment we always have to, just be like, is she gonna do this time? Aniasia, we should place bets.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should.
Start play bets.
Yeah, but we both are going to bet that she will forget it.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Let's see if I can just find them. Where are they? Gods. Yeah. How unprofessional of me.
Sometimes that happens.
That happens.
We're only human.
Yes.
That's what I've learned with my communications book.
There we go. Now it's up. Yeah. So the first one is Kissy Sensei in her Sombra costume. We like to share pictures of your cosplays just so people can get to know you and what you've done previously and things. So please feel free to chime in if you have anything you want to say about the individual cosplays.
Sombra is sorry, I really hate cutting you guys off.
No. Go ahead.
I was just talking about my Sombra cosplay with my my brother and his girlfriend because it is probably one of the more difficult cosplays for me to wear. You can't tell, but the jacket alone weighs, I would probably guess it weighs about 10 pounds. It's very heavy. Oh God, it's beautiful. I love it. It's a gorgeous costume. It's just a bodysuit with built-in wedges in the bottom, sewn-in wedges in the bottom. And then it has the giant jacket, and the jacket is where all of the attention usually lies. And it is a wonderful costume. It's just very hot. It's very heavy. It does give me a headache after a while. It does make me sweat, but I've learned from cosplaying Sombra that you can actually get backaches from posing when you are asked for pictures time after time, because her favorite pose has her back arched. Every time I wear it, I come back to my home, or I come back to the room that I'm at for the convention, and my lower back is always killing me because I overextend when I wear her. I just thought it was a fun tidbit for everyone.
No, but it's like cosplay issues that only cosplayers know.
Yeah, only cosplayers understand.
It was like with my Risa Hawkeye costume that I made, the pants that I couldn't sit in. The only thing I could do was stand.
That is, my boyfriend cosplays Reaper from Overwatch, and he has giant greaves that go over his knees, and when he sits, they bend, and he worries about breaking them, so he cannot sit in the costume because the armor is just too bulky.
Yeah, sometimes animation logics are not real life logic.
No, not at all. Right.
And Ryurai Arts and Lucia Farah is saying, such a gorgeous Sombra, so many details, and looks so amazing.
It does. All right, next one. This is it Ciri from the Witcher franchise?
Yeah, that's probably the cause test that I did because I was inspired by The Witcher. My brother had been binging through The Witcher for about a week. So I saw Ciri's design, which I had seen previously, and I said, you know what? I have a wig that I think would work great for that. So I went for it.
That is how so many cause tests start. You know what? I have a wig for that.
Yeah.
That legit.
I went for it, and it got really, like, the response was really great. Everyone was like, you should do it. You should cosplay Ciri. And I was like, at the time I had so much on my plate. I was like, oh my God, no, don't tempt me, please. Her design's so pretty.
At least it turned out to be a very good selfie. So
yeah.
Thank you.
No, I had that same thing happen with the Morticia Adams makeup test I did like 3 years ago. Like, people were like, oh my God, that is so amazing. You should totally do her. And I'm like, yeah, one day.
One day.
Still hasn't happened.
Christian J. Torres is saying in the chat, God, when this selfie came out, I lost my mind. And this, you guys know, this emoji is a high five emoji. It's not the prayer one. Apparently, yeah, I know. But I'm like, no, yeah.
I use the prayer one. Like, when something's so good, you just have to.
Yeah, like, oh, yes, you are amazing. That's how I interpret it.
Same.
Let's see. Next one. This, of course, is your Edward from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Edward!
Oh, that feels so cute!
Yeah. I'm gonna show it after to the people because they only can see your Edward right now. But I love your Edward.
So good.
Thank you so much.
I love the way how the jacket is like flying out behind you. It looks so good.
That's actually one of my I just had a photo shoot. The photos aren't out yet, but I just had a photo shoot with Ed in my Edward Elric costume last weekend. But that photo is from the most recent one I've had before that, which was at Katsucon in February, and it was actually with one of my favorite photographer friends that I've worked with for years. His name is Francisco, and he is so talented. His eye for angles and details is just incredible. So that shot, he has a twin brother who helps him assist in shots, and he had my cape and just flung it. And it took about like 5 or 6 tries before we actually got it right. That's one of my favorite shots.
It's beautiful. So this is by Simply Frank Productions.
Yes.
So if anyone out there wants to give him a follow, you do that.
Yes.
Very, very good. Very good. I shout him out all the time because he's very talented. I'm really blessed to work with so many incredible photographers. And I'm blessed that when I first got into cosplay, he was one of the first photographers I ever connected with. And that was when he had started out in photography. So it's cool because we've both kind of grown with each other. I've grown in cosplay. He's grown in photography. And we both kind of we connect like every few months. We're like, hey, I have this idea. Do you want to shoot? Sure. Every con we're at, you want to shoot? Absolutely.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's fun.
I like
it's cool.
it.
He's a really
When
cool
people can
friend.
grow together, that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next one.
Wait, I'm just gonna say
yeah?
the comments for this picture because Rio and I are saying "Holy truth!" Ah! Or was that about the high five? I'm not sure. They're reacting to that too, but they really love your ads.
Thank you.
It doesn't say holy truth, it's holy truths.
Okay.
Holy turf.
And Christian J. Torres is saying, best Ed, fave Ed. Oh, his
Yeah.
art is superb.
Oh,
That
yes.
is actually my friend Christian.
Aww.
Yeah, he's my friend. So he's every time I come out with any sort of picture, he's always like, "Oh my God, it's incredible!" There's like, "Oh my God, thank you."
So
It's
the
awesome
next
to have a friend like
The
that.
next one is that another one from Boku no Hero Academia, or yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
He's a villain. To my knowledge, like I said, I don't read the manga, so I don't know. No spoilers where he's at in the manga. Where I'm at in the anime, he is a villain. His name is Dabi, and he has his quirk is blue flames, which are the hottest flames on Earth. So that's why I have the blue editing around it. So it's supposed to signify like his blue flames, and
Cool.
yeah, he's gross. It's cool.
Cosplay Studio is also saying nice photo, and Cosplay Studio is a cosplay photographer here in Norway who is like he's on almost every convention and he takes amazing photos for cosplay. So
Oh my God, now I'm honored.
Yeah, he's like a cosplay photo god.
Oh my God, that was just a selfie too. Holy crap.
Right, so let's see. We have one more. It's a character with blue short hair that I'm not familiar with. Do you remember which one that is?
I'm trying to see if it pops up. It's probably Aqua, if it's blue short hair.
Yeah.
You have like a leather bodice,
Yes.
and yeah,
It's
that's
like
Aqua from
crisscross.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Yeah.
Right. It does look a little Kingdom Hearts-ish now that you mention it.
yeah, you can tell by the keyblade.
Yeah.
Yes. that is Aqua. That actually Aqua is Birth by Sleep is a prequel game to the entire like Kingdom Hearts series. It apparently happens 10 years before the first Kingdom Hearts game. So Aqua was the character I connected with the most in the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise. And this costume was, I would say it's been in the making before I debuted it. It was in the making for a year and a half. I kept convincing myself that I didn't want to do it because you can't really tell in the photo, but she does show a bit of skin, which has always been really iffy for me. Her entire back is completely exposed. She wears shorts, and so her like thighs are exposed. She has, knee-high leather stockings. So it can be considered a sexy cosplay, which I don't really do because I'm not super comfortable. So I kept convincing myself, no, like, dude, I don't think you could wear that. It's really revealing, and no, but I kept going back and forth between I love this character so much and the costume's kind of revealing, so maybe not. And then my brother pushed me and was like, just do it. And I did it, and I was liberated. It was such a liberating experience because I realized that a lot of the people didn't really pay too much attention to the fact that she's got skin showing. It was more so of like, wow, it's really nice. It's a really nice costume, and it's like really nice craftsmanship. And I felt so dumb afterwards because I was like, what was I even worrying about? It feels great. Like, this costume feels amazing.
Well, you look amazing in the photo too.
Thank you.
But I can totally understand where you're coming from because I'm not very comfortable with very revealing costumes either. I haven't really done a whole lot of like bare skin or a lot of cleavage or anything yet. Just because I'm not comfortable with that either in general. But I have like I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, so I'm going to try to do Mad Moxie from Borderlands.
Oh, wow, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's also going to be a lot of tits and ass hanging out everywhere. So, I'm just going to have to push myself. But I think, like you said, it will probably be a very liberating process just to become more comfortable with your own body and being, exposed and not thinking that that's a bad thing necessarily. Yeah. So kudos to you for taking that like personal journey. I
Yeah.
respect that a lot.
And
you speak it to the truth.
Yeah. I would never think of this like as a sexualized costume.
No, me
either.
neither.
I was just thinking like, wow, awesome costume, and then you mentioned that you felt like you had a lot of skin showing. I didn't even notice that. So
maybe it's in my head.
yeah, I think all of us have a lot of like anxiety against that, or some of us do, and I can totally relate to it.
Okay, let's see. Last one, which is a broccoli selfie.
Oh yes, it's my good broccoli.
Yes.
So that's a really funny story. That was the first I guess cosplay I attempted from My Hero. That was 4 days after I had started watching My Hero, and in the first 4 days I had binged through the entire first season and some of the second. So I was thoroughly obsessed, and I was so connected to the character Deku at this point. So I was very inspired after I had gone online and went through the My Hero Academia tag and saw people cosplaying Deku. And at the time I thought, that's the one. Like, I'm gonna do that whole costume one day. I'm gonna buy everything. I'm gonna cosplay him. It's gonna be great. But my problem was that I didn't know how I would feel with the wig. So to test it before I went crazy, I went on eBay and I bought a really cheap wig. It was, I think, $10, $12 on eBay. And as soon as it arrived, I tried it on, and it was like wild. Like, that end progress was after like an hour of cutting and gelling and floofing and blow drying. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I turned the wig upside down at one point and just shook it to see if it would stay up. So once I did that, I put the wig on and I did the makeup, and I took my selfies and I had fun. I posted it online and everybody loved it, but I was really uncomfortable with the wig. My hair was longer at the time. You can't tell now because my hair's in a wig. My hair's shorter now, but at the time my hair was to my lower back, so it was really hard to stuff it all underneath such a short wig that didn't really have a whole lot of hair in the back. And I just kept looking at it from different angles, and I was like, maybe it's good for a cos test, but maybe not a cosplay. Maybe I'll just admire Deku from afar and love every Deku cosplayer I find and be like the next best girl, or the next best character, which was my favorite girl, Ochako, and that worked out really well. So
yeah.
Cool. No, I get you. My hair is getting pretty long now, and I have a lot of just natural floof going on.
yeah.
So it takes up a lot of space inside of my wigs, and even though I have a small head, sometimes it's like, how can I fit all of this in here? I don't know.
Exactly.
Also, I'm just gonna mention that Ryura really, really, really loved your Aqua costume. I know that she really likes Kingdom Hearts. So
Thank you.
yeah.
She's cosplayed from Kingdom Hearts herself, so yeah, she's a very big fan.
Ooh, I love Kingdom Hearts.
And I'm just gonna show you guys my Ed pillow that I got from
Look at how cute he is.
Eniasia for my birthday. And
I got my first anime pillow like 2 weeks ago. My boyfriend got it for me as a really early birthday present, and it's a My Hero pillow. I don't have it with me. I'm so mad. It's in my bedroom. It's a My Hero pillow, and it's got all of them, but it's got Deku right front and center, and it's double-sided. So the other side has a different picture, and ever since he got it for me, I have had it every single night because I'm like, oh my god, I love this anime so much.
That's so cute.
That's nice.
And also, Ryurai says, short hair for the win. Yes, I kind of agree.
Yeah. Since I cut my hair, it's so much easier to do stuff and like pick my hair up, and it's so much easier. Plus, it's 100 degrees outside, so I could not be bothered.
Yeah, well, one thing about short hair and wigs is that if you have a wig with a clip-on ponytail that's like over a meter long, it won't stick to your fucking head.
No, you're
because
gonna
it
have to glue
slide
that bitch
off.
down.
It will slide off at the first movement.
Oh,
I've tried.
Yeah. Glue and bobby pins, baby.
Yep.
bobby pins. Accurate.
Cosplayer's best friend.
Yes, make it happen.
I'll
Alright.
stick the sucker on if it won't stay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we can move into the main theme of the podcast.
Yes, we can.
So,
I
Tanya,
will
you want to
do.
get it started?
Yes, you already asked that, and I was prepared. So, how long have you been cosplaying, and how did you get into cosplay?
At this moment, I've been cosplaying for 4 years. That's so weird to say. 4 years I've been cosplaying. I got into it. I have been a huge lover of anime and manga since I was 11, and I knew what cosplay was. I found out what cosplay was when I was 16 or 17. I vaguely had an idea of what cosplay was, but at the time it was more so of a, like, it's cool to watch, but I don't really want to do that. It's maybe someday. And then in 2014, I was going to go to a local convention here that I had previously been to 3 years in a row with my boyfriend and his family and my brother. And it was a Comic-Con of sorts, and I would see people dressed up, and it would be so fun, but it wasn't something I super paid attention to. And then at the time, our group of friends were really into Attack on Titan. So we knew how popular Attack on Titan was. We knew that it was a giant franchise and everyone was dressing up and it looked so cool. So my brother came up with the idea, I think this was like 2 or 3 months before the con. He said, why don't we do it? Why don't we dress up? And I said, oh my God, Attack on Titan? And he said, yeah, look, I found the costumes on eBay. They're not really all that expensive. They look like they're really good details and we should do it. So he bought his costume first so I could see it. And I said, once it came in and it was really nice, I said, okay, wow. So we passed the link to all of our friends and we said, let's go. At the time, it was, I think it was like 1 or 2 of my friends and then my boyfriend's brother and his girlfriend. And then me, my boyfriend, and my brother. So we had like a group of about 6 people. So it was pretty nice. And we wore the costumes. We were really, really excited. And it turned out to be, I think, the best first cosplay experience you could ever have, because we walked in and immediately everybody had asked for pictures because we were most of the main characters. And as we went through the convention, we met other Attack on Titan cosplayers and we just absorbed them into our group. So before we knew it, we were walking around with a group of 17 cosplayers, all cosplaying from Attack on Titan. And we had this giant gang, essentially, that went through, and we were getting stopped for 15, 20 minutes at a time. People just crowding around, taking pictures, asking us what our social medias were. And it was so overwhelming because I didn't really have a cosplay Instagram. I didn't have a Facebook. I didn't have a separate email. I was just like, this is my first time cosplaying. So after that, it was just, I was absolutely hooked. I think the rest of that year I did two other cosplays, and then it's been a wild road since then. Funny fact, one of the people we met that day actually ended up being my brother's girlfriend, and they're still dating 4 years later. So
That's so cute.
yeah, it was really cool. We made some really nice friends that we still have in our friend group, and like I said, he's dating the one, so
Yeah.
it was good. It was a really nice experience.
I think cosplay is like a really nice icebreaker. You don't really have to start talking about something to find some common grounds. It's just like looking at whatever the other person is wearing, and you know that
We're gonna have something to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really easy it's not easy to make friends, but it seems like it is, at least. It seems like it's easier to get to know people in costumes.
It's like more comfortable, I guess, because you're already breaking that barrier. If you show up in a costume and I show up in a costume, we both kind of already broke down that barrier of having to explain that we're cosplayers and that, yes, it's weird, and yes, we like to dress up, and yes, we like anime. So once that barrier's down, you're like, okay, cool, let's go talk about something else.
Yeah, I did the mistake of trying to explain cosplay to a person who asked me what I did as a hobby. I should have just stopped with, I like to sew and make things.
and a craftsman. That's what I am.
Yes. Kitty Petro says in the chat that I have done that. You start as one and suddenly you're a swarm.
Yes.
That happens.
I imagine it's going to happen when we, I'm going to a convention in 2 weeks, I think. It's actually, coincidentally, it's at the same exact place that convention I had started at is in. It's just a different convention. And we're cosplaying that. I'm cosplaying this, and my group of friends were cosplaying all in the same uniform, so we're all going to look the same. I have to imagine it might happen there with how popular my hero has been and how many people are cosplaying. So if we find other ones, just know if you're going to Keystone Comic-Con on September 15th and you're wearing my hero, you're instantly my friend for the day, and you have to follow me around. So.
Lucia Farah also says, "Ooh, I love that Attack on Titan."
Yes.
It was good for a while, and then it took a 2-year hiatus, and in between there I got into many different animes and many different video games that we just kind of decided we had our fun. Attack on Titan was fun. We cosplayed it for about 1.5 years, and then we said, it's time to move on. Let's do other ones.
Sometimes
so we
you just do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, you've explained one of your favorite fandoms. Do you have others?
Yes. So My Hero is the current favorite fandom. My biggest favorite, I can't even say fandom because it's so hard to find people nowadays who like the anime, but my top favorite anime is Rurouni Kenshin, an old 90s anime. Yes! Oh, yes!
Yes.
You're speaking Tanya's language now so hard.
Yes.
That was the first anime, unless you count Dragon Ball and Pokemon, that I ever really, really got into. It was what started the whole love for anime. It's what started the collecting manga, collecting DVDs. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but I have, that's Blue Exorcist. That's Rurouni Kenshin right there, that poster.
Yeah, I see it.
I have 2 others. I just you can't see them from the angle I'm at. But I collected so much more. Oh, wait. Here he is. I have so much Kenshin merchandise because it was my first. But that's a really fun fandom because a lot of the times it is, since it's a 90s anime, a lot of the fandom is older because they got into it when they were my age, like 11 and 12. And now all these years later, they're in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're like, Rurouni Kenshin's amazing. And I'm like, it is. I love it.
Yeah, I can see both Ryurai Art and Cosplay Studio is like,
Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin's a good one. It's whenever we find fans from there, the fans are you can tell they're very genuinely into the anime, because there are some people who come up to us and say our costumes look great, but they don't know where it's from. They're just like, wow, it looks incredible. Can I have a picture? I'm like, sure. But there are all the Rurouni Kenshin fans. Every time I cosplay Rurouni Kenshin, it's always somebody that comes up and they are very obsessed. They are like, wow, I've never seen somebody do this before. This is so exciting. So that's a fun fandom to be a part of because it's older, I guess. And then my other favorite's Full Metal. So Full Metal Alchemist is, Full Metal Alchemist is very, very near and dear to my heart. I've been cosplaying Edward Elric for 3.5 years and Kenshin, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop. But the Full Metal Alchemist fandom is like really cool. A lot of people love to do the funny scenes with me because I cosplay Ed, so a lot of the scenes revolve around Ed, so I get to throw myself into funny situations with Full Metal cosplayers, and they're always willing to like reenact them with me and scream and call me short so I can yell at them, and it's just a lot of fun.
It's the best. It is the best.
Yeah.
And Cosplay Studio says that Kenshin would be his dream shoot.
Aww.
If you are ever in the United States and you want to shoot Rurouni Kenshin, I am your gal. I have a Sanosuke and a Megumi and a Yahiko that would love to shoot with you too.
There you go. You have a photo date. You have to do it now.
You said, come to the States. I will shoot with you. I will shoot Rurouni Kenshin all day.
Yes, we could definitely talk about this all night, but let's get into the theme of the day. And we want to know, why do you want to address the issue of cosplay and positivity?
I actually just did, I don't know if it uploaded on my Instagram or not, on my like IGTV thing. I still don't know how to work it. But I just did
we don't either.
It's so confusing. I don't understand it. I'm trying to, because I'm trying to stay hip with all of this new technology. I just uploaded a video yesterday about body positivity. And I feel like that has a lot to do with cosplay positivity, because cosplay positivity is, it's a plethora of things. But for me, when I practice or I preach cosplay positivity, it's more so of the telling, letting people cosplay who they want to cosplay the way they want to cosplay. And it doesn't have anything to do with gender or body size or skin color, or, if you want to cosplay that person, then do it. The only exception I will make is if you are cosplaying a dark-skinned character and you purposely put makeup on to be dark-skinned. Obviously, don't do that. I don't really condone that. But it's really sad, because I see a lot of extremely talented cosplayers who are not super thin. They don't have big boobs. They don't, have hourglass figures, or they might have features that some would not deem attractive, but they're so talented. They sew, they craft, they wig style, they do makeup, they do special effects makeup, but they get looked over because they're not attractive. And I feel like with cosplay positivity, there's, especially in the cosplay world, when you have giant icons like Jessica Nigri and Yaya Han, they are very sexy. They are very attractive. They are very nice to look at. So because they are so popular, now everybody's kind of following this trend of, well, if I want to be a popular cosplayer, I have to look just like that. And if I don't look just like that, then I'm not worth anybody's time. So when I say cosplay positivity, I just want to spread that narrative to kind of show people that you don't have to be a drop-dead gorgeous swimsuit model with giant boobs and a giant butt and who does naked cosplays all the time to be a cosplayer. That you can look any way you want. You can cosplay anything you want. If you're a girl and you want to cosplay a boy, go for it. If you're a boy and you want to cosplay a girl, go for it. If you're heavy, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the act of cosplay is putting on a costume and getting out there and having fun. There's also a very elitist mind style where if you don't know how to sew very well, or if you don't style your wigs very well, then you look terrible and you shouldn't even bother cosplaying that character because your skills are weak or something like that. I mean, I've heard so much of it. Thankfully, not a whole lot of it's been sent my way, but it has been sent to a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I know in the community. I know right off the top of my head, one of my favorite, I don't want to say plus size cosplayers because that kind of like puts a category on her, but her handle's Gabby New Cosplay, and she is so talented. She's so pretty. She's so good at what she does. And she is plus size. She's bigger. But I know that a lot of the times there are people who look cosplayers like her over. And I think it's shocking because I've met her multiple times in person. She's very sweet. She's very open. She's very friendly. And like I said before, she's extremely talented. So if she was thinner and had big boobs and did sexy cosplays, people would flock to that. But it's a shame they're not flocking to her now because she's so talented. And that's kind of why I want to talk about cosplay positivity, because I feel like that's happening so much now, is that everybody flocks to the sexy cosplayers or the thin cosplayers or the, cosplayers that have top-notch wigs and top-notch costumes. And sometimes the little people kind of get lost in all of that, and they kind of get forgotten because they don't have those skills, or they don't have that type of money, or they don't have that type of body. And I just think that's super unfair.
Yeah. as Kitty Petro says, preach.
Yeah. You are basically preaching
Yeah.
to the choir because none of us are very tall or, you know, like that kind of cosplayers. We're not sexy, super sexy cosplayers or anything like that. And all what the CosCast generally is about is just spreading the love of cosplay. And our motto is like, it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have fun. If you buy it, if you sew it, if whatever, just as long as you're having fun, that's why you cosplay. And that's all the reason you ever will need to cosplay.
Yeah.
think
I
that's the
remember-
other side of it. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I just remember I sadly I don't remember the social media handle, but I remember this. It's not that long ago, but there was this amazing cosplayer who cosplays a lot of characters from Overwatch, and she recently did a amazing May costume. But she's a little bit bigger, and people are like sending so much hate to her for absolutely no reason. There's absolutely no reason to give someone a negative comment just because you feel like it. It's there's no reason to do that. But I remember like it's not a campaign per se, but I remember like a lot of my friends on Instagram were like, can we all go together as cosplayers and just go there and just comment love to this cosplayer, just overrun all the hate with love instead. And I just felt like it's so important, you know, to stand up for people and be a community and do things like that.
I just think it's a shame that we have to do that. That you know, we have to go and protect these cosplayers that are getting attacked for no reason. They have so much hate sent to them for no reason when they're really just trying to get out there and, as my favorite quote goes, get out there and do the goddamn thing. Like, you just really want to be, and the cosplay community nowadays is so toxic. You know, when I speak to friends that have been cosplaying for 10, 15 years, they tell me what the community used to be like when they first started, and it was so welcoming and so open. And then you have these cosplay pros. I don't really like that word because I really don't know how anybody can be a pro or anything, but you have these cosplay pros who come through and they get famous and they get paid, they go to conventions, they sell their prints, they sell their merch, and it's like living a lifestyle, and you're like, wow, I want to do that. I want to be cos famous. That's the term. I want to be cos famous. And I feel like once you come into the cosplay community with that intent, the cosplay world just kind of loses a little bit more integrity because you're not really coming in to make money. And sure, would I love to make money off of cosplay? Absolutely. But it's a hobby.
Yeah,
it's a hobby.
Making money off of it would be a bonus. Like, you do it for the love of cosplaying and for characters and fandoms and things.
Absolutely. That would be just like the gravy on top. I've always loved cosplay because of who it brings me to. And I used to do pageant modeling, and they always told you in pageant modeling, like, have a platform. What platform do you want? World peace or fresh water or fresh food or whatever. I feel like through cosplay, I have a platform now. I have, you know, I don't really like to throw my follower count around, but I have a pretty nice, comfortable little following count right now on Instagram and Facebook. So I know people are listening and people are watching the things I do and looking at the pictures that I post. So I always make it a point, you know, to every now and then do like a positivity post or to talk about, you know, what have you guys done today to spread some positivity? What have you guys done today with progress? Or don't forget to tell somebody that they look really nice or that their cosplay looks really great. I'm also a huge preacher of the sewing versus buying the costume thing, where everybody thinks that you're not a cosplayer if you don't sew your costumes from scratch. And
that's such bullshit. It is such bullshit.
It is such bullshit. I don't know how to sew. I can hand sew, but who wants to hand sew an entire costume? I sure as hell don't.
No.
So I buy a majority of my costumes, and as of late, I buy the costumes and then I alter them. So I either get them taken in, or, for example, the Aqua costume, I bought that costume, but the armor on the sleeves, I made that because the sleeve armor came and it was fabric, it was flimsy, it was very low quality. So I removed it and I made my own armor. I made her shoes as well. And I had a friend of mine, I borrowed her Keyblade. I think she bought it at a convention, but I have plans to make my own Keyblade. So that's like my gripe about cosplay buying and like cosplay sewing. And it's just it's like a whole other problem within the cosplay community that when I have this platform, I feel like I can talk to people and they will listen about spreading positivity and about teaching people who are, maybe looking at my account and thinking like, wow, I really want to cosplay. I really want to, it looks like so much fun. Kissy Sensei looks like she's having such a great time. I really want to do that. And they think about doing it, but they're just so scared of the ridicule and the criticism that a lot of new cosplayers get because they don't know what they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing what you're doing, but you get faced with so much negativity when you come in and you're just like, I don't know how to sew. Oh my God, you don't know how to sew? You suck. I don't know how to style my wig. Stop cosplaying. Like it's just so terrible. It's a wonder why like half the time cosplayers are like, never mind. I don't want to cosplay anymore.
I mean, that kind of brings us over to the next question that's in our script, sort of, which is local communities.
Local community. So I think,
but Tonya, maybe you could ask like the full question.
Sure. Yeah, we want to know what your local cosplay community is like. Is it as toxic as you mentioned?
Thankfully, I live in New Jersey. I'm on the East Coast, and I find that a lot of the times where the elitism comes from is more so like the West Coast, but I personally have not been the victim of any of this elitist mentality. I haven't really had anybody comment on my stuff or send me any hate or anything like that. But my local community, like New Jersey, when I go to these local cons, it is usually lots of fun. The community is usually very welcoming. They're very excited. When I come into these cons with my cosplays, I will find people who are very excited to take my picture, very excited to meet, exchange contact information and stuff like that. When I go to the bigger cons like KatsuCon and Otakon, which are in Maryland, so further down where I am, that is kind of where, since they're a lot bigger, there's a lot more people that come from all over the country. So you do get a bigger melting pot of different mentalities from different parts of the United States. And I feel like that is where I kind of encounter, not personally, but I've seen it and heard about it from people who've experienced it, because there's such big popular conventions and you always want to bring out your best. You always want to look your best. You want to bring your biggest, baddest cosplays. So there's a pressure. And then when you go to there and you have these big cosplayers that look down on these smaller cosplayers because they didn't have the skills to make a gigantic armor set from Skyrim or Elder Scrolls or anything like that, but they had the skill set to do something simple like a little gym uniform from Mick Costumes that was $60, and they just bought a wig for $20 and they threw it together and were like, let's go cosplay. Like, it doesn't mean that little cosplayer was any less than, the bigger cosplayer who decided to do the giant armor build.
No, absolutely not.
Where I run into it.
Like, Ryurai says in the chat, my first cosplay, no wig, bought stuff, no makeup, and I had the time of my life. I've made a timeline to remind myself of how long it took before I learned makeup, wig, and sewing. It took time, and that is okay. Yes. Preach.
That is true. The Sasha Browse cosplay that I did, the first one that I did, I used my hair. I didn't use a wig. I did my normal makeup that I do every single day. And the costume actually was not 100% complete because there's a strap system. Anybody that's cosplayed Attack on Titan knows all about the belt system. The belt system was very, very complicated. And we actually did not buy the belt system because we didn't know we had to. So we bought the system that came with our costumes were just these little thigh belts and a regular belt for the pants. And that was about it. So that's all we had. And like I described earlier, that experience is one of my favorite cosplay experiences. And none of us really did anything super special. I mean, none of us really wore wigs. My brother did, but his wig was a very cheap eBay wig that we found and cut up. And I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my God, how did I let him walk out of the house like that?
But we have done something similar. Like, we have been in costume in just t-shirts and tape, and people were like, wow, just because we were in a group. Like, people in general just think it's cool that you cosplay a character that they know.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do it like in a competition kind of way.
It's very cool to see. One of my favorite cosplayers is Kamui Cosplay, and she's been cosplaying for, I think, like 13 years now. But it's really cool when she posts, sometimes she posts these side-by-side of her very first costume back in like 2008 and her costumes now. And the growth is just incredible. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that I look back at that Sasha Browse cosplay I did, and I can pick out all the things that are wrong. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I thought that looked cool. Whoa. And then I look at my costumes now and I'm like, I feel like I've grown so much. But that's what a lot of cosplayers are afraid of. I think they're afraid to do that interim period of growing and learning and realizing in the beginning, no, you're not going to have all of the skills. You're not going to know how to sew very well. You're not going to know what the hell a wig is and how to wear it and how to, do makeup to accentuate your eyes for a certain character. You're not going to know that right off the bat. You learn that as you go. So then 4 or 5 years later, somebody asks you like, hey, what was your first cosplay? And you show them and you're like, this is me when I didn't know what I was doing. And look at me now. I know a lot more.
Yeah. I think that growth is really important. And I also think like social media culture in general is affecting how the wanna be perfect right away mentality, which is not that healthy considering. But you have sort of answered about like the next question we have. So I'm going to try and it's fine. I'm just going to try to rephrase it a little bit because I think that it seems like you're very, very passionate about spreading positivity and very passionate about people not having negative experiences. Mm-hmm. But how did you kind of fall into that? Why is this such a big passion of yours?
I, from a really young age, I was always very aware of, I guess I don't want to say it's a social bubble, but I guess I was always really aware of how I affected people. And that is multifaceted, affecting people by conversation or affecting people just by when you walk into the room and what you look like and what you exude. I've always been told that I've had a very outgoing, friendly persona, and that when I walk into a room, it's very obvious that I'm willing to speak to anybody. So I was very aware of that at a young age. And then it took me some time. I realized it mostly through middle school that people are not always nice, and that people, unfortunately, depending on what you look like, will judge you and will take any chance that they get to kind of knock you down. My parents, thankfully, have always taught me to be really strong and really independent and just very confident. My brother, when he was younger, he was very overweight. So there were a lot of times where he encountered bullying, and I never had any weight issues as a kid. Even now as an adult, I don't really have any weight issues, so I don't understand that. But seeing my brother go through it was really difficult. So from a young age, it was my way of kind of helping my brother feel better about being bullied by teaching him, hey, if you can be positive about this and continue to tell yourself, like, it doesn't matter what I look like, it doesn't matter how much weight I have or how much weight I've gained or what I like to eat, it doesn't change the type of person that you are. So when I got into cosplay, actually really when I got into pageantry and modeling, obviously that is very centric around what you look like and what you dress like. So I did pageantry for 2 years. I did modeling for 3 in the same time. So I guess 3 years in total. And it was very detrimental to my confidence because it really made me hyper aware of how much everybody was paying attention to what I looked like. Oh my God, sorry.
That's fine. It's okay.
It made me really aware of how, I guess, obsessive everybody was about the way they looked and the way they presented themselves. I didn't learn how to do my hair until I was 19. I didn't learn how to put on makeup till I was 18. So a lot of the times when I went to high school, it was wake up, get out of bed, put that hair in a ponytail and grab the next thing that's clean and then head to school. But I was very aware that everybody was very like, I have to look my best. I have to put a full face on. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it made me very aware that they did that because they were afraid of being judged and they were afraid of being bullied because it had happened before or it had happened to people around them. So when I got into cosplay, I was very aware that this is a thing I would encounter, especially given a lot of my family members didn't really get it when I first started cosplaying. All of my friends that didn't cosplay with me were thankfully very supportive. They were like, wow, that's so cool. But, you know, sometimes you get that little like, Christina does cosplay. Like, that's weird. That's weird. So now they're like, oh my God, Christina does cosplay. That's so cool. But going in, I realized that when I started posting pictures of myself and I didn't know anything about editing or how to take a good selfie or professional photography or anything. So all the photos that used to be on my Instagram from the very beginning, they were very baseline. They were pretty horrible. But
We've all been there.
Yeah, I knew going on that if I put myself onto the internet, I had to be prepared to receive some sort of criticism, constructive or not. And it was the same thing with a lot of my friends who had been bullied in the past and they came into cosplay and found that it was a way for them to kind of cope and to get back into good friend circles. And I started jumping onto cosplay positivity about 2 years ago, I'll say like really heavily, because I had a friend at the time who we're no longer friends. I had a friend at the time who was very toxic, and it took me a really long time to see that. And we would sometimes have these discussions about cosplayers that we would see at conventions or that we would see online. And a lot of the time, the very first thing the friend would do is pick out things that she thought were terrible or compare them to things that she had done and that, you know, she didn't really enjoy or that she thought that person could do better. And after I got out of that friendship because of the toxicity, I started to realize maybe there are a lot more people like her in this community that need to kind of be educated on what is kosher and what's not, that you can't really, it's not really right for you to compare cosplayers or to say that that cosplayer sucks because they don't know how to sew, but that cosplayer is really good because they've cosplayed for 6 years and they've made like 15 costumes by hand. So after I started realizing that a lot of the cosplay community does unfortunately think like that, I started to really advocate because I said, you know what, I'm starting to get a little platform. I'm starting to get a couple of people that are paying attention. Let's use that. And if I can, you know, inspire one person to jump into cosplay because of, you know, the positivity talks that I give occasionally on my Instagram stories and stuff, then I think, you know, I think I've done a pretty good job.
Yeah. I think that's a very well reflected and good mentality to use your social media. It sounds like hey, I get inspired here, you know. but a lot of these things are what the CosCast initially is about as well. Like, we just want to spread the love of cosplay and want to spread positivity. That's like the ground stones of our thing. Mm-hmm. But how do you think we can combat negativity in the outside of the cosplay community? Do you have like 5 good tips to achieve good community spirit?
I guess the biggest tip I can really give is to talk. A lot of the times people will take that negativity and they will just do nothing with it. They'll internalize, which is horrible, but they will take that negativity and they won't express anything. They won't tell anyone, they won't talk to anyone, but more importantly, they won't stand up for themselves. And I know that standing up for yourself is really difficult and really scary in some situations, but if you don't talk about the issue, the issue does not disappear. In fact, I think the more you ignore it, the bigger it gets. It just snowballs until it becomes a gigantic problem. So talking about it in your circles, or talking about it on social media, or talking about it to family members, getting it out there and addressing that narrative is one of the ways that we can kind of make people more aware that this is a problem. It's not just it happens every once in a while and it's very isolated events. It's not a teeny tiny problem anymore. It's now becoming a giant issue that is really toxic. It's hurting cosplayers in the community. It's hurting cosplayers or would-be cosplayers that would like to be in the community, but just see all this mess going on and they're like, you know what, never mind. I don't think I want to do that anymore. Another good tip is surround yourself with like-minded people. A lot of the times, some of these cosplayers that just start out, they try to reach out and get in with the big cosplayers. And I feel like a lot of the times that's not a really good thing to do, because you don't know those cosplayers. You don't really know what they're like. And a lot of the times the allure of them being famous draws a lot of people in, and they might be aware of that. So they might be manipulative. They might use you. I've heard lots of horrible stories about a whole bunch of different things of big cosplayers kind of using their fame for evil and not really doing good things with them. But if you surround yourself with a nice friend group, whether that's 3 friends, 4 friends, or in my case, I have a really nice cosplay crew of about 7 or 8 friends. So you at least that if you do that, you go to conventions with these like-minded people, you are in a safe environment, you have people that will stay with you, they will protect you, they will, if somebody says anything stupid to you, they will go up to bat for you, they'll stand up for you, and you won't ever feel depressed or feel upset about going to a convention and not being confident in a cosplay, because you'll have essentially a hype team to be like, you know what, you look great, like bravo for wearing that costume and getting out there and doing the thing, and let's go have a good time. And I'm really fortunate that I have that, support system that, especially when I cosplayed Aqua, I was really self-conscious. Even the day of putting it on and getting ready to go out onto the con floor, I was very nervous, and I was like, are you sure? I could go change. I still have my clothes in the car. And my brother and his girlfriend were like, go do it. You look great. Get out of your head. Go have a good time. And it was incredible. If you don't have a support system like that, it's really easy to fall into the negativity and to be swallowed up by the negativity. And then it just makes you not want to cosplay anymore. And that's sad.
Because, that's a very important point. It's like, you have to create that community feeling within your group of friends or within the larger community. And it starts with being positive and surrounding yourself with positive people, and also, giving out that positive energy and positive comments to the people around you.
Exactly.
And as soon as you have that family connection or family feeling or that warm community thing going, it's less scary, and you can feel protected because you know that your family's got your back. And
exactly.
I mean, before I started cosplaying, I didn't have that. I mean, I felt very much alone because I had maybe 2 friends or so that I would call like proper friends, and my husband, and that was it. But now that I'm in the cosplay community in Norway, I feel so loved and so protected. And there's so much positivity everywhere around us. And for my part, I'm just so happy and so lucky to be in a very good place,
Yeah, we started this CosCast thing almost parallel as we started cosplaying. So we have had a very easy way into the Norwegian cosplay community. And we've been kind of a bit blessed, maybe, because we have gotten right into the core of a lot of talented people who's been like in the community for a long time. So we know a lot of people in the community that's central with, conventions and other things. So I can't really speak for everyone when I say this, but I do think that we in Norway are a bit lucky that our community is a bit smaller.
Yeah,
I think
we
like
only have like 4 million people in the entire country, so our
Yes.
cosplay community is like we're like I think
5 million.
4,000 or 7,000 people cosplay in Norway. Like that's
Total.
Yeah, well, and,
Yeah.
and the cosplay community in Norway is still pretty new. It's pretty new, and I'm sure that if we all are, just not aware, then our community could easily become toxic as well. And that's why we have so many talented and caring cosplayers in our community that won't let it happen. I mean, if someone in the community or outside of the community tries to spread toxic, it's getting smited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's slammed down really hard because we have a few hard asses in the community that is like, no, this is not acceptable. I'm looking at you, Silja Danielsen.
And
Senpai.
Call out.
Yeah. Like she is a no nonsense kind of person, and she will just like if she feels like something is wrong, she will like no, I will not stand for this, and I respect her so much for it. So yeah, I think we've been really lucky with the fact that we're still so small and that we have a few people who really fight for this, like you do. Like, who are really advocates for let's keep cosplay positive and for everyone and not spread toxicity. And Christian says in the chat, this community may have a ton of toxicity. Having people like Kissy and all of you keeps it in the place it should be. A place of acceptance and kindness. Y'all rock.
Oh, that's so cool.
Aw.
Very sweet. Thank you, Christian.
It's really
And also,
cool.
I think that a lot of toxicity and rumors are started because of misconceptions and things that's not going the right way. Like, especially when people come up to, cosplayers that's considered a bit more famous and they don't get the response back because they kind of forget that they're just people too with insecurities and anxieties and all these things. So I guess that a lot of rumors and negativity is just started because of misconceptions.
I've always done my best. I think this is for me personally. I don't suggest it for everyone because it might not be something that works for them. But I've always found that it's really important to me on social media and in real life too, to be transparent. To if there's something going on in my life, I owe it to the people that I have this platform for, to explain to them, for example, if I disappear from Instagram for 2 weeks and I don't really talk about it, when I come back, I think it's important for me to say, hey, I was having a really bad mental health time. Like, I was really going through the ringer. I didn't really have a lot of good vibes going, and I really didn't want to be here and spread that negativity. So I decided to take a break. A lot of the times on social media, it is perceived as this blanket of perfection, that everybody only gets the good parts of your Instagram profile. So they think you have this perfect life and everything's beautiful and they never experience sadness or pain or anything like that. But for my Instagram, I may post pretty pictures and very nice costumes, but if you read my captions, a lot of the times I'm just like an open book. So I will speak very frankly, if I'm having a bad day or if I'm very stressed out from nursing school, or if I'm caught in a crunch for a convention, I will be very transparent. And a lot of that has to do with owing it to them to let them know at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many followers I have or how nice my pictures look or how nice my costumes look, that I am a person. I am still a person with emotions, and I do still experience stress and pain and heartache and, mental health issues. And if you see me at a convention, I do try my best to make sure I am the exact same person in person that I am online, because I know that a lot of the times people do get sad when they meet their cosplay idols and they're not what they think they are because they act a certain way to get followers or to, I don't want to say trick people because I don't think that's their intent sometimes, but to kind of get the following that they have, they act a certain way online. And then when you see them in person, they're not like that. They're completely different. And it does discourage a lot of people. And like you said, that is sometimes where rumors start, because you don't get the reaction that you want. You don't get the meeting that you want. So you go online and you bash them because you're upset. So to me, being transparent and being the same way that I am in person as I am online is really important, because I want everyone to know that I'm a gigantic nerd. I spaz out a lot. I'm very clumsy. I freak out. I scream. I'm very loud. And I'm like that online, and I'm like that in my Instagram stories, and I'm like that in person. So when you meet me, you should never be surprised, because what you see on Instagram is exactly what you get.
Yeah. We try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been very open in the past about, like, our lives too. We're not perfect, and we all have issues we struggle with, like depression or anxiety or feeling of, you know, of other ways that we don't fit in. And so it's really important for us to be transparent and to be genuine people, so that when people actually meet us, they know that, yeah, we suffer from social anxiety, so we're not going to be completely 100% out there and be, you know, easy to get in touch with necessarily, because we're as scared of talking to you as you are of talking to us. Basically.
Yeah, and I think it's really good for especially me and Anita and Sunniva to have this CosCast, because people get to know us, who we truly are. I mean, like Anita and Sunniva, they're very talkative. I'm very quiet, and you see that on the show.
Yes. But yeah, Kitty has a comment. She says, one thing I love about the online cosplay community is how much people are willing to help. I am now friends with a girl from Chicago who helped me make a fake accordion for a cast cosplay. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool. And I also want to point out Lucia Farah in the chat, because she is saying that this hits very close to home. So she's taking everything in. I think she really appreciate everything that you've been talking about, and we have too. It's been. This
is why I do this, you know, because I know that there are so many people, whether in the cosplay community or outside of the cosplay community, that have been through, you know, a whole bunch of ridicule and a whole bunch of negativity and stuff like that. And like I said, I've been very blessed to not have to go through so much of that, but I know a lot of people who have. So if I can talk to, you know, right now I don't know how many people are watching this, but, you know, talking to thousands of people, and if just one person kind of takes something away from this, that's one more person that could go and talk to their friends about what I've said, and then their friends might talk to their friends, and you know, about what I said, and then hopefully that will kind of spread and start creating a narrative that's different from this toxic one that we have going on right now. So that's why I like to really talk about positivity more so than trading secrets of how to sew, or trading secrets of, you know, how do I style my wig, or anything like that. Because those skills, yeah, you'll learn those skills as you go. But if you're, you know, pardon my French, if you're a shit cosplayer inside, there really is no point. You know, if you're rotten on the inside, but you look gorgeous on the outside, it's like a Venus flytrap. You're going to draw people in, and then once they're stuck, they're like, well, this sucks. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that applies to everything in life, I feel like. If you're a shitty person on the inside, it doesn't matter how pretty you are on the outside, you're still going to be shitty on the inside.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and also, as my mom always used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say to someone, then shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
So yeah.
We have one more question for you, and this is a silly question. Just go. Yeah,
it's the most important one.
Yes,
maybe we need it after all this heavy topic we've been talking about.
And I know that Sample Cosplay earlier in the chat here, when we looked at your broccoli picture, she was like, "Huh? I heard vegetables." Because this question is a very important one. If you were a fruit or a vegetable, what would you be and why?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that question.
No, neither has Maul Cosplay, apparently. He was at a panel recently and was like, what's the weirdest question you've ever gotten? And he was like, I was asked which fruit or vegetable I was at a podcast once. That was weird. So
Yes.
I think I would be a vegetable. You know what? I would be a potato. I make that joke a lot to my friends that I'm just I think I actually had it in my Instagram bio once. It was like certified potato or something like that. I think I would be a potato. And I think I'd be a potato because the potato is like so versatile. It can be so many different things. You can make it so many different things. And I feel like in my life, I have been so many different things and I've done so many different things. So I'm versatile like the potato. Plus, almost everyone loves potatoes.
yeah, that's true.
Very true.
Adam
And also you can draw a parallel to Potato Girl in Attack on Titan.
I tell this to my friends all the time. The saddest thing about cosplaying Attack on Titan, specifically, because I cosplayed 4 characters from Attack on Titan before I stopped. The saddest thing is that I cosplayed Sasha Browse, and I never once carried a potato with me or had a shoot with the potato or anything.
That's
and
a golden
now,
opportunity lost.
I know, it's so sad. I was like, oh no, I should have done it while I had it.
But now you can always think about that you have always carried the potato inside your heart.
Yes, exactly.
I have been the potato all along.
Anyway, we need to start wrapping this up. We are so hard on Overcast, which our viewers love anyway.
Yes.
But
I was saying, what did you say? Hashtag Overcast for good reasons. Hashtag preach.
yes.
Yes.
So the last part of our show, we're just going to keep it short, is geekery. So have we watched, read, or played, or listened to anything during the past week that we would like to recommend to our viewers?
I started watching a show on Netflix. I have no idea how it's spelled, but it's really bizarre, and I'm not sure what I feel about it yet. It's called something like... I need to find it because I have no idea. Insatiable?
Insatiable.
Thank you.
Oh.
See, no, I have no idea how to say that.
You're so sweet. I love you so much.
I blame my dyslexia.
It's your second language too, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to say that in Norwegian anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah.
It's just bizarre and weird. It's really bizarre. I have no idea what to think about it yet, but it's bizarre.
I've heard it's a weird show.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen like the trailer for it, and it seems to be pretty weird. Like some girl that wants revenge for someone who bullied her, and then there's a Miss Jesus something pageant competition. I don't know what
Yes.
it was, but it
What
looked
the-
weird. So yeah, I might check it out.
You should. It's fun.
Ryudai says, "Fateful fumble! Everyone tune in this Friday!" She's our #1 promoter. We love her so much. Thank you, Ryudai.
I watched it once 3 years ago, and actually 2 years ago, and cosplayed one character from it, and then just kind of like let it fall off. But I recently rewatched it because I watched the prequel to it a couple of weeks ago with my brother. But I've been watching Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and it is incredible. Like I said, I'm rewatching it. The prequel to it is Fate Zero, and my brother and I watched Fate Zero, and it's horrible. It's so sad. There are a lot of feelings involved.
What a coincidence, because Ryudai also says in the chat, other than the obvious tradition, I've watched Fate Unlimited Blade Works to get hyped for my Rin cosplay.
Oh, that's
So you're two Rins.
Yeah, this was, like I said, 2 years ago, maybe. I cosplayed Rin. She had like an alternate like school uniform, so I did that. And I only shot in it twice, and then I fell out of the fandom, and then I sold it, and now I'm back in the fandom, so I regret selling it because I am cosplaying Rin again. So now I'm really back. I'm like, I skimmed the surface of the fandom the first time. Now I'm like deep into the fandom. So I would suggest, if you haven't watched Unlimited Blade Works, watch it, but if you want to go chronologically, watch Fate Zero first, and then watch Unlimited Blade Works, because it will be a very nice parallel. And
Noted.
Yes.
Noted.
Sample Cosplay says, I've been watching a lot of Critical Role lately, and I'm slowly coming close to the end. I'm scared.
And I apparently wrote no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been listening to a lot of actual play podcasts lately, so I think shows I've been listening to that are not Critical Role are like The Mortal Path and Tales of Swordfall and Penance RPG. So I am very, very deep in the actual play podcast hole. I am in the trash can, so to speak. So yeah, I can just recommend people to dive in there with me, because it's just wonderful to be able to listen to podcasts like when I'm commuting to work or whatever. And who doesn't love RPGs?
It's true.
It's true.
Tonya, anything you want to recommend?
Well, when we were at TorCon, I bought myself some new books. 5 books, written by Sarah J. Maas, or however you're pronouncing it. The first book looks like this. It's Throne of Glass. I've reached the 3rd book now. And it's basically about an 18-year-old assassin girl named Kalena Sardothian something. And it's kind of for young adults, but I like it. It's exciting. It has drama, plot twists, and stuff like that. And I like it, and I recommend it for people who like fantasy and
the young adult section.
Yeah, a bit action, a little bit of romance, quite a lot of drama.
Nice. Gotta have some drama and some angst. It's essential. All right. Well, we are nearing half an hour over, so I'm just going to call it there. It's been amazing having you on, Kissy. So thank you so much for coming on the show and for talking about this very important subject. I hope that all of our viewers had a good time listening to us, and spread the word about cosplay positivity in your local community as well. It's super important.
It is. Yes. Also, the other artist saying, by the way, Kissy, I checked your Instagram. Your Rin is so cute too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we will not be back next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, because we're doing bi-weekly shows this year, or, this, at least for the next 6 months, just to see how that works out instead of weekly. So, if there's anything you want to see from us in the future, if you have any suggestions for fun video challenges or game streams you want us to do or whatever, let us know. And remember to subscribe to our channels and follow us on social media at the CosCast, pretty much everywhere except for Twitter. We're not on Twitter. And, spread the words to your friends.
Yes, and follow my game streams. I will announce them soon.
And follow at Kissy Sensei on Instagram and Kissy Sensei Designs on Facebook.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.